All right, let's kick it off. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, November 7th, 2023, and happy Notary Public Day. So excited to share the day with you on a call such as this. We've been running the Tuesday Notary Titans call now for, I think, going on 5 years, probably within a couple of months of that, 5 or 6 years. So this is an exciting time. There are notaries across the country here on today's call. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of NotaryCoach.com and best-selling author of 4 notary books that are designed to help you build a business that thrives no matter what the economy is doing. I'm here with my incredible co-host, Ms. Laura Biewer. I saw that you just popped in. Hey, Laura, come on up. Introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Notary Public Day. Pretty exciting. I see a lot of chatter in the social media, and of course, the NNA just had their event. Maybe you were part of that. I am Laura Biewer, and I am Coach Me Laura, and my mission is to help develop confident and competent notaries. Also, most recently, best-selling co-author with Bill on a book called Beyond Loan Signings, and excited to be with you today to answer your questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Laura, I recruited Matt Miller, founder of California League of Independent Notaries founder. Matt Miller. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Bill. Welcome, everyone. Looking forward to answering questions today. Happy Notary Public Day. What an awesome time to reflect on the very important work that we do as notary publics. And I encourage you all to continue to provide that service to the public with integrity and competence. Again, my name is Matt Miller, president of the California League of Independent Notaries, and also a busy mobile notary here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and co-author of the best-selling Apostille Agent Survival Guide. I'll post my email and phone number in the chat if you want to reach out.
Look at that. We've got 3 best-selling authors hosting TNT today. That's pretty incredible. I love to see
I
it.
know. Wow.
Awesome. And I love what Matt just said. What's that, Laura?
I said, look how we've grown.
We have grown. Pretty amazing. What was I going to say? Oh, Matt, thank you for bringing up the competency part. That's when it really boils down to, that's what we're doing here, right? We're connecting with each other. We're building relationships, but we're really building competency. We really are taking this office seriously, and we're raising the bar of the entire industry. So thank you for being here. And that's what TNT is all about. It's like an old-fashioned call-in radio show, except that we're on Zoom and hopefully with our video cameras on so we can see each other. But what you can do is that the most efficient way for this to work is for you to use the raise hand feature in Zoom. That is usually on the toolbar along the bottom. Whenever you hover your mouse around my face, there'll be a raise hand button or the reactions button. And sometimes within the reactions button, there'll be a wave hand, or not a wave. You can wave all you want to, but raise hand feature. When we call on you, here's what we need to know. We want to know, if we can't tell what your name is, we want to know what your name is. We want to know what state you're from. And then what we ask is that you jump right to your question. If we need additional backup information, we'll ask you some additional questions, but then you can mute out and I will kind of volley that question to Matt or to Laura, or I'll take it to myself, or sometimes you'll get all 3 perspectives. And that's really what we're here for too, is perspective, right? There's so many different levels of experience on today's call that can help you grow your business. So if you have questions about cultivating relationships, where to pivot your business, what kind of specialties to be focusing on right now, or specific questions about overall this business, this is the time to ask it. Combined, we have at least 2 years of experience in the notary business. Now, Laura's got 20 on her own. Matt's got several. I've got several. Plus, we all, just like you, were people before we became notaries. We have lots of different varied experiences here. So let's take advantage of that. Delcy, thank you so much for being here. I know you're in New York. How can we help today? Delcy Winters, probably on their phone, looking for that mute button. I know you're scrambling for it.
You're right. and pulling over and swallowing all at the same time.
My timing is
Hi, guys.
perfect.
Okay. I have two unrelated questions that I need your help on, please.
Let's do
The
one at
first
a
one
time,
is
too, Kelsey. Okay, thank you.
okay. Okay. The first one is I've had situations where the venue, I can't tell whether the venue, whether it's a split certificate or the venue part way at the top is for the for title,
Yeah.
because I had one the other day that I did, and I called the NNA about it because it was an affidavit. I think it was a signature affidavit, and it had the venue way at the top. And so I wrote in sworn to I wrote in my venue right above the sworn to, but in a panic when I was checking over my docs, I was like, oh my God, I forgot to change the venue. But before I did, I called the NNA because there have been times when I've seen a similar certificate where the venue is way at the top, and they've told me not to they've told me to cross, mine through the venue and correct it. So my question is, how do I recognize whether something is a split certificate where I need to fill in the venue up top, or versus when I don't?
Yeah, great question. That's a common thing that we see in loan signings. Laura, I'd love to hear your perspective on this.
On real estate documents, I find that it's not my venue at the top. It's really about the location of the property. And my venue, and if you're in California, you're not allowed to have a split venue from your certificate anyways. In California, it must be right with your certificate, nothing in between. If you're not in California, I would tell you that I tend to believe that you should just put your venue with your certificate to make sure that you're talking about your notarization venue, and the venue up at the top is part of the document. And so I don't consider that my venue.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so if it's filled out, I wouldn't mess with it. I would leave it alone. And if there's not another place for venue for me, I would add my venue in.
Okay.
Just to be sure, because there's not a rule that says just on this document. I can't tell you by document.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah,
then,
I just personally, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Matt if he had some additional perspective on that, or just in agreement with Laura.
Yeah, pretty much in complete agreement. I'm trying to think back during the aughts, the 05, 06, 07, 08, or about that time when I was a New York notary. And this might not even apply now, but I don't remember any specific guidance like in California that the certificate language and the venue have to be right up against each other. But I think as a general best practice rule, whatever's up here at the top of the sheet belongs with the document. Whatever's down here in my notary certificate is mine. So I'm going to say that you did the right thing by handwriting in the venue above your certificate language. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt anything. Sometimes there's some push that back. Yeah, Delcy. Oh, I'm sorry, and I cut you off.
Yeah, I just I take it a little personally. I know I shouldn't, but when I get a call from the signing service saying you forgot to put in the venue when it's way up top, because that's my rule of thumb, is I usually disregard it if it's way up top of the document. But when they call me and say that I need to fill it in, I'm like, ugh, I didn't fill it in on purpose because this is yours. So okay. Yeah. But I'll continue to do that because it sounds like that's the best way to do it, and just let them call me if they need me to fill it in. All right. The second question is in regard to the difference between the oath and the jurat, because very often in my loan documents, they don't have the venue above the sworn to, and I'm asking myself, is it just an oath?
Oh, actually, that is a good question. And an oath by itself does not require a venue. All the other certificates do. But if
so
it's
how do I
just an
know?
oath and not a jurat, then you're not required to have a venue as part of that. When it's a jurat, then you are required to have a venue.
So how do I tell the
You
difference
want to know more?
when, I'm sorry?
Laura,
You
hold on
want
one
to know
second.
more?
Laura, just so you know, there's a little bit of delay in
Oh.
in you, so I think there's a little bit of talk over, unless it's me. But you're on mute.
So like I'll see the documents inside the loan package. I'll see documents that only have sworn to before me, and they would not have pre-printed the venue, and so I add it in. But is there ever a case where they're gonna have the sworn to where I'm not gonna add the venue because it's just an oath? That's my
Well,
confusion.
yeah. So Delcy, that's what I was describing. One, if you put in the venue, you're not going to hurt anything. But an oath
Okay.
by itself does not require a venue at all in any state. It's one
Okay.
of the few notarial acts that just doesn't, as a matter of fact, I don't even know of any other notarial act other than the oath or affirmation when it is freestanding by itself. So if it just says sworn before me, it doesn't require to have a venue. If you write it in, it's perfectly fine.
Okay. Okay. I guess I just don't know when
Is there
to
still confusion?
I think I might know
recognize that it's
Well,
just an oath.
okay. So Delcy, if it says subscribed and sworn, that is a jurat, not an oath.
Oh, bingo. That's the difference. Thank you,
Yeah.
Laura. It has to say subscribe to and sworn. Okay, got it. Thank you so much. You just
Okay.
cleared up 3 years of confusion.
We got there. All right. Awesome.
Thank you so much, guys.
You're so welcome. Thanks for bringing that up. Happy
All
Notary
right.
Public Day.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
All right. Gia, come on up. Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Thank you, Matt, Bill, Laura, for taking the call. I am in California, and I want to say to Bill and Laura, I have your trust training, the one you did in 2014. It's everything. And I just want to thank you for that. And I highly recommend everybody getting it, very succinct. So I have 2 questions about trust. So I have my first trust signing tomorrow, and I'm very confident because I took your course. My question is, on the certificate, do I need to put their name twice? You know, because they have them sign as their capacity, and then they have them sign as the individual. Do I need to put their name twice? That's my first question in the certificate.
Laura, do you want to take that one?
So no, you don't have to write their name twice in the certificate. Once we'll do the job. Sometimes they'll have 2 certificates where it's in capacity and then not in capacity. And in that case, if they gave you 2 certificates, if you're in California, then you're going to do it the same way because you're not allowed to certify their representative capacity as a settlor or a trustee anyways. So there's only one way to do it when you're in California. When you're in other states, then they would have it set up differently in each of those certificates.
Okay, perfect. And then the other question is, what documents again require a witness and not to be notarized in California? The will and it's another document.
In the trust, are you talking about
And
trust?
for the trust, yes.
Yeah, it's called a pour over will. It's witnessed by 2 impartial people. You may be one of them. You're not notarizing it.
Okay.
And then they're getting the other one as a neighbor, a friend, the attorney, or you're providing witnessing service. And that's the same for a will outside of a trust called a last will instead of a pour over will. Pour over will means it's part of the trust, it pours into the trust, and a last will is the same kind of document and it's witnessed by 2 people. It is not notarized.
Wonderful. And what's the other one that needs the witness and not notarization? Is there another document in the trust?
That is, that is done right there. It's the will. Now, there's another document called Advanced Healthcare Directive, and depending on the attorney who prepared it or service that prepared it, they may ask for 2 witnesses or a notary or both. It depends on who prepared the document. The requirement in California is 2 witnesses or 1 notary. That's the requirement.
For the Advanced Healthcare Directive.
For the healthcare directive. In my experience, most attorneys now are just going with the 1 notary because they already got the notary there to do everything. But I have seen where they had a place for the witnesses as well.
On the pour over will, the person cannot be related to them, or does it just depend on what it say about who the witness can or cannot be on that document?
If the document has specific instructions about their qualifications, that's what gets followed. The rule normally is they are impartial. So they don't want relatives or anybody who might be inheriting through that pour over will. That's why neighbors and friends are best to do that. And if for any reason you're providing witnessing service, meaning you're bringing in a witness, then they would probably not know these people, and they need to see the ID so they can say in a court of law later, if they were asked, how do you know these were the people who signed it? I saw their ID. That's how I know. Just like a notary saw their ID.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Bill, you're muted. Oops.
Who am I? I pulled a Laura.
I know. Your computer must be possessed.
I think this is this, and you'll probably agree with me, Laura. This just really highlights the importance of also letting the document speak to you.
Yeah.
Because you can just say, oh, the medical directive or the healthcare directive just needs witnesses, but that's may or may not be the case. You don't have to know that stuff. The document will tell you what's expected, and usually there's some instructions on top of it, but you can tell what's going to be expected when you get to the notarial certificate. Like, are the witnesses being notarized as well? You'll know that when you look at the certificate and read the instructions.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
You've got it. Great questions. Let me just answer a question in there. I usually don't multitask. I know better than that. I'm going to stop doing that. Larry, I know you're in California. Welcome. How can we help today?
I was just at the NNA Notary Day celebration, and the dude from NNA, I forgot his name completely, was telling a story about how one of the things that like made him mad, or that people put notaries in bad situations, was the boss of a company came to him as a notary with a document that both the boss and his wife had to sign, and the wife had pre-signed, and the boss was asking him, well, can you just notarize both of us? You know me, you know this is my wife, rather than have her come in and have to sign this, separately. Can you just notarize both of us? And of course, he said no. And I was sitting there thinking, if I were in that situation, what would I do to get around this? And I'm thinking, couldn't the notary have attached a separate certificate, just notarizing, just noting that he's notarizing the boss's name, and tell him you're going to have to do the same thing for your wife? And if you did that, would you have to cross out the wife's signature on the document? I wouldn't think so. I would think that so long as you were clear on your certificate that the only signature that you're notarizing is the boss's, that would be okay. But I'm always trying to keep up and educate myself and get reassurances that what I'm thinking is correct. So I'm curious if that's the way to handle that situation.
Well, a great question, Larry. I love that you're thinking outside of the box and you're trying to find a way to yes. I think that can really serve you. And I think I'm going to call Matt and Laura up for this because it's going to depend on the Notarial Act, but you might have some options. Matt, do you want to jump in?
Sure. So Larry, there's a couple of ways that you can handle that. You can do exactly what you said, and just attach your own acknowledgement or jurat for the signer that's appearing before you. And then you can just leave the pre-printed certificate alone and leave the wife's signature alone. She'll have to appear before her own notary. Or you could simply strike out the wife's name if it's pre-printed in the certificate, initial. That way it only reflects the husband who appeared before you that day. That's kind of how I would handle that and how I've been taught to handle that situation. But you know, the moral of the story is you can't notarize for someone who doesn't appear before you.
That's it. Laura, anything that you throw in there too?
Yeah, I said it. He said it just right.
Perfect. Beautiful. Larry, great situation. Thanks for bringing that up again. Lynette, welcome up. Hi. What state are you in and how can we help?
Good morning. I am from California. I am brand new and so excited. I found Notary Coach. I've gotten my trust certification. I'm getting ready to start marketing. So is there anything, I'm still learning the website. Is there anything where I could get like verbiage and ideas, like if I'm doing trifold flyers or anything else for marketing that I can get an idea for an outline of how to verbalize what my certification and how I can bring value?
Yes, great question. Congratulations. So first things contained inside the course, there are examples, verbiage, downloads, strategies for connecting. And what I'm going to recommend is that you use those strategies, whether it's in the messaging like on LinkedIn, email, telephone pop-ins, whatever you decide for you, but that's what you're going to want to use. And I'm going to say this because I've seen it, but a handout is a cop-out. So I know we want to think about brochures. We think we're deflecting and resisting the actual work by creating a brochure that we're just going to leave behind really passively with somebody. Those are going to end up in the trash. That's just the way this is going to work. So I'm just going to, that's the hard love that nobody wants to hear, but it's true. Right. So instead of focusing your energy on that, literally use those strategies, use the verbiage that we taught you inside that course and just start reaching out. Start reaching out to estate planning attorneys. That's going to be way more effective than a brochure. And then as you start having conversations and you start seeing, oh, I've got signers at the table that are kind of interested. Maybe you can design a postcard that leaves, you can do a leave behind with some of your services, but you'll learn that as you go through your business. But right now, skip it.
Just knock on doors, make calls.
Knock on doors. That's going to be
knock on the doors is better than
fastest results. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Laura, Matt, do you have different opinions or any other suggestions? I want to totally leave it open for that. Matt, Laura?
Well, I agree. When you're prospecting businesses, attorneys, and legal professionals, yeah, I think a leave behind is probably not going to be as effective as you educating them on what a trust delivery agent is and how you can help them, how you can be valuable to the growth of their organization. But when you are approaching the general public, for example, just everyday Joes, you know, maybe a brochure would be helpful and not necessarily about specifically you, but about what notaries do in general, how to find your local notary, when you might need to see a local notary. That might, you know, if you really want to do a brochure, we have them, we hand them out to the general public when we do events. Laura and I just did an event a couple of weeks ago, and it went over really well, and it was very well received. So maybe that would be an appropriate application for a brochure if you wanted to make one.
Thank you.
Great perspective. Thanks, Matt. Laura, anything that you throw in there as well?
I just, the only thing I'd add is in the conversation, if the highlighting your training, especially if you're just a brand new notary, and I wouldn't be leading with, I'm brand new, you're my very first person, right? That's probably not where we want to go. But of course, we don't want to lie either.
Right.
But think about acknowledging concerns they may bring up, and utilizing what you've done to make you a proficient, competent notary and trust delivery agent. And that's why people take the training, because there's a difference, I think, between a notary who happened to get a trust across their desk and they did it versus a notary who's deliberately learned about that industry, those documents, and what needs to happen. And I think that's what's going to speak to the attorney more than anything else we could provide them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Awesome, Lynette. I can't wait to see where you go with it. Thank you. All right, Lorena, welcome. Come on up. Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm driving, so I can't have my video on, but very nice meeting you. I bought your certification program this morning, and I already went over some courses, and I love it. Thank you so much. I have a couple of questions. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. So one of them is, I haven't heard anyone talking about if you make mistakes. Like, I come from a loan signing industry, and we all know that we used to take 2 copies, and if we make a mistake then we swap one. And I know we can correct things on our certificates, but how do you handle mistakes that are on the attorney's documents? What have you guys done?
Yeah, beautiful question. Let's pause right there. I know you have a couple of them. Laura, you want to come up and address?
Yeah, I've had that happen several times. One time, it was the wrong notarial act, and I just happen to know that because I did the research on it, and I just pointed out to the attorney because he was going to send his people off right to the, Bill, is there feedback going on with me or somebody else?
I think it's Lorena. Okay, I think we're good. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, much better. So I just pointed out, are you sure this is the notarial act you'd like to use for this certificate? And he said, oh, I just thought they were all that way. And I said, well, you might want to double check, but I believe this one requires something different. Other times it's been because there were documents actually missing from the binder, the trust binder. And I recognize that because I know what's supposed to be there. And I called them and they were so happy because it turned out, yes, there were documents missing. There was an advanced healthcare missing on one and a HIPAA missing on another one. And because I was able to bring it to their attention, they were able to print those off right away. Actually, in my case, they sent them to me. I printed them because I was not with the attorney when it happened. So I think that it's all about how you approach what you're sharing with them, and that you're partnering with them to make sure that this product is exactly what they want to deliver, rather than I'm pointing out mistakes.
Yeah, great point, Laura. And so the other thing too is it's a lot less drastic when there is an error. Like if and attorneys do make mistakes. Sometimes the trust company makes mistakes. They do a typo in the name. They allocate the wrong percentage sometimes, or whatever it might be. It doesn't happen as often as you might think, especially when they're working with an attorney, because they're usually reviewed all of these before you get there, unless the attorney's doing it while at the table with you. But you can talk to them and communicate with them and find out how they want to fix it. How do you want to fix this? Is this going to be a scratch out in the initial situation, or do you need me to reprint something? And it's not on legal size paper. So a lot of times if they need to email a document, they can email it. If you're at the appointment, it can be printed out on a home printer. It might not be the same fancy paper, but it gets the job done, right? So it's really easy usually to correct mistakes that way. Matt, anything else I know that trusts are big in your world too. So anything?
Yeah, because I wasn't that clear. So yeah, I meant if like they signed it wrong or whatever. So you would call the attorney, or you would just ask them to, strike through it and redo it and initial and all that. Sorry.
Oh, well, great question. So yeah, correction is a correction, but here's what is beautiful about doing trust deliveries is you don't run into that signature mess, all that crap that lenders put you through. They're like, oh, you didn't sign it this way. You're not going to run into in trust. Your signature is your signature, and the attorneys recognize that. So you won't have as many situations like that. Laura, anything that you'd add on that, or Matt? Sorry, Matt, we cut you off there too. You had something to say in there.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, of all the trusts I've done over the years, I never have had the signer mess up or make an error. It's typically the issue is with the notarial certificate. And as Bill and Laura said, when you're working with an attorney, they all have software that know the state's specific notarial certificates. Generally, when you run into an issue with your notarial certificate, is when it's a do-it-yourself package, like someone's gone to trustandwill.com or LegalZoom or whatever it is. And those programs don't know to match up a trust package with a specific state certificate. And in those situations, the only thing we can do is strike the certificate, put your C attached stamp or write C attached, and use your own certificate.
Beautiful. I appreciate all of your answers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Debbie Hudson, so great to see you. You're in California. Come on up.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. I am doing a seller package tomorrow, and the original owner of the house, Beatrice, is 99 years old. And then there's a co-trustee on their trust. And the first page I got says that Beatrice just needs to sign 3 pages: the grant deed, the trust certification, and the FERPTA. And all the other signatures will be Lori, the co-trustee. But then when I look through the package, the owner's affidavit and the insurance affidavit have both names on the jurat certificate. And my thought is I just scratch Beatrice's name because she's not signing the document. Is that correct?
Matt, I see you nodding your head. You think?
Yeah, I think it's just a document preparation error. If the other signer is not signing, just strike the name out, initial, if the certificate is California compliant, or just strike the whole thing and use your own.
No, it's California compliant. It just has both names in there. And it's funny because all of the acknowledgements, they don't put the names in. And on the 2 jurats, they put both names in, even though only the co-trustee is signing.
Yeah, it's probably some kind of a software document preparation error. I wouldn't get too tripped up about it.
Okay, thanks, because escrow hasn't called me back yet. So
Yeah, well, that would be my suggestion too, especially if this is a relationship that you're cultivating, or it's someone that you work with regularly. I see it as an opportunity too, just for clarification. It's a little extra to go above and beyond and say, this isn't jiving. Is the error that the signer should sign it and be notarized, or is it just a notarial certificate? So I think it's a above and beyond step. Debbie.
yeah, I've put in a call, but haven't heard back, and it's been a couple hours. So just thought, since I have the experts on the Zoom call, I would ask.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks. Great question. Guys, we still have about 20 minutes left on this call. So we only have one hand up, and it's Bernice. And I can talk to Bernice for 20 minutes easy because she's awesome. But if you have other questions, feel free to raise your hand right now. Bernie, come on up. Looking for that mute button on her phone. Bernice, you can find it. All right, Bernice, I will wait. She's probably on the call. That's all right. Lorena, we'll go over to you. Lorena, welcome back up. What's your next question?
Hi. By the way, I forgot to say that from Arizona. I don't know if I said that, and I know you were in Arizona for a while. Or here's my other question. I have so there's a estate planning seminar that's coming up this Friday, and I want to attend it, and I want to introduce myself. I'm not certified yet. Do you have any, I don't know, recommendations on what to say, how to approach him? Obviously, I'm not yet ready to go through the docs and explain the docs, but do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I love this question. And I think there's a couple different ways to handle this. So just for clarification, Lorena, so there's some estate planning professional who is hosting a party, maybe buying lunch or dinner, or just hosting an event where he's going to talk about the difference between wills and trusts or estate planning 101 or something like that. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And you want to just attend as an attendee, but also use it as a networking opportunity. Is that correct? Yes, I think I'm on track.
Okay.
Thanks, Lorena. So I would actually like to hear all three perspectives on this too. Laura, what's your take on something like this?
I don't want to go first.
Matt, you want to go first?
I want to hear other people's perspective.
Matt, what's your take on this?
I think it's a great opportunity. I've gone to a couple of my bar association section meetups regarding estate planning and probate law, and it's a great networking opportunity to get your name out there and possibly pick up some work. I like we mentioned before, I wouldn't necessarily mention that you're new, but that you are, educated and informed with these types of documents, and focus more on what you can do for them, the value you bring. I can print your documents, I can prepare the binder, I can ship them back to you, I can scan them, I can, go to the client when they can't come into the office or you can't as well. So, all the stuff that you can do, that's what I would focus on. And that's what they want to hear. They want to know what you can do for me. So focus on that. And I think that you'll find that it'll go a lot better than you think.
Awesome. Excellent advice, Matt. Thank you. And then Lorena, what I'll offer in my experience, the first thing is just be aware of what the situation is. This is a professional. They may be an estate planning professional or a financial professional that provides this service, or they might be just a salesman or a spokesperson for a company that does it. So you just be aware that could be happening. But even if it is an estate planning professional or a financial advisor, they've invested significant amounts of money, and they probably have to pay for every butt that's in a seat at that event in one way or the other, right? So you just want to approach it delicately, because you're costing that person money to be there. And I'm going to put you on mute, Lorena, because we got some feedback. Just be aware of it. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means you need to be aware that could be in that person's head. So if you can authentically enjoy that presentation as a learning experience, possibly as a hiring experience, like maybe that's services I want, at the very least, it's going to be someone I could refer other people to. And then if all goes well and you hit a home run, it's a potential client for you. So approach it like that. The other thing is, regarding your certification, remember, certification is not required. So this is new. The certification is a way to help you stand out, but the attorneys don't know it exists yet either. I talk to estate planning attorneys every day promoting Notary.com, changing that, but there's 216,000 estate planning attorneys. So I got my work cut out for us, right? We're growing that way. So it's not like he's going to say, well, are you certified as a certified notary trust delivery agent? That's not going to happen. So you can relax a little bit about that. Lean on your loan signing experience. You're already experienced. You're already awesome at that. So you're already a professional mobile notary. So I would lead with that in your conversation and just let them know that you're committed to excellence. You're trained in estate planning documents as well. It's not like he's going to sit you down and test you. What are the 6 core documents of a living trust, right? He's not going to do that. So you just talk about it, naturally you have 3 days, 4 days before the event, so you can get more familiar with the vocabulary, because you can finish the course and you can take the test in that amount of time too. So you might be certified by Friday. So that would be my I don't know how many pieces of advice what was in that spewage, but there was a lot in there to take. Laura, how you got 2 perspectives before it was your turn. Now what do you say?
So a little bit towards, this is their event, it's their show. So it's not the time for me to be taking up all their time, telling them all the things I can do. I think that I need to respect that this is their event. And although I would certainly not leave without introducing myself and what I am, I would be doing 2 things. One is I'm hoping that this guy does a good job at presenting, and that I can find things to compliment him or her on in terms of educating the public about why they need a trust, so that you can, because when people hear that, then they're a little more open to talk with you for a few more minutes, it buys you a little more time. The other thing is get his contact or her contact information and do follow up. Follow up is where it happens. I was at your event. Again, I really appreciated what you said about this, that, the other thing, and wanted to let you know my interest in, your world of trust. So I think I might move some of that to a follow-up instead of trying to do it all there, because there might be other people waiting to speak with this person who are there to buy a trust, who are there to do, that's their purpose, not networking. So I don't want to get in the way of that.
Great advice, Laura. I love that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Everybody's opinion, I appreciate. Thank you.
You got it. Good luck, and hopefully we'll hear how well it went next Tuesday. Bernice, are you ready?
I found it. It was on my phone. I just couldn't find it.
Nice.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I just wanted to chime in, every now and again, I'm gonna give my little 2 cents. In reference to when you're working with working with attorneys, and there's a mistake on the document, guess what? That happened to me today. I did a signing for my primary attorney and had a wonderful experience with his client 2 weeks ago. Over the weekend, she texted me that she got her document from the county recorder, and it said that it was an error. So I'm like, I already knew what needed to be done. I enjoyed the signing so much. I enjoyed sitting there talking with her, getting everything done. I forgot to do what? Stamp the deed.
Been there.
So I scheduled an appointment with her. We scheduled an appointment to meet. She was so worried that there was something wrong with the document. I just came up to her and I said, girl, you know what? We had so much fun. I really enjoyed talking to you. I really enjoyed the experience, and you said you did too, that I forgot to stamp this document. I provided a certificate, had her re-sign my book, and I was done. And then I told the attorney that, I said, guess what? He's like, what? I said, I'm not perfect. And gave us an opportunity to laugh and enjoy the experience. And so I said that to say, yes, when we do loan signing, I mean, the pressure is there. The pressure is there for trust documents also, but attorneys, they are a little bit more flexible because they make mistakes too.
Yeah.
And it's not the mistake, but what is the one thing that we're all taught? It's not the mistake, but how do you correct it?
How do you fix it?
Yeah. And so that's just what I wanted to share. And it just so happened to happen today.
I love that. How perfect. Thank you for sharing that, Bernice. And it's so true. I will say that I think one of the coolest experiences and one of the neatest features of working with estate planning attorneys and getting specific and particular about it, working with those that are passionate about what they do, helping people. I have those experiences a lot with the estate planning attorneys. They're just cool. You know, they're making a difference in people's life. They're driven by something bigger, and it involves loving on other people. So they're just cool whenever you make mistakes, for the most part. I love it, Bernice. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Good to see you on, or good to hear you on. All right, Gia, come on up.
Yes, I'm back. I'm still in California. I'm back. So did you say that the signature, they can sign how they want to sign? It's not like a loan signing where they have to sign the way the name is printed below the line. That's not a thing with trust.
That's not a thing with trust, and it shouldn't be a thing with loan signings, but lenders are the boss. Laura, what's
Oh,
I'm saying exactly. It's whatever your legal signature is. I don't care what document it is. That's your signature. And it isn't the place of somebody else to tell you you can't sign your name that way.
that's what I love about it, is logic actually prevails, right? Like they get that the reason the notary is there is to make sure that the person who's supposed to be signing that document is the person who's signing that document. So that problem's solved, you know. It's
got it.
lenders that mess it up a little bit.
What about how we put it in the certificate? If it's like, if their name is like Jane Doe, but they have it on the ID as Jane Doe, but on the trust documents it says Jane Doe. What do we put in the certificate? It's the same rules that apply to loan signing in that vein.
Well,
that's about identification, not
right.
about documents. But what I will tell you is that I always follow how the name is printed or how they're identified in the document. And then I look at the ID to make sure I can support the name that was in the document. I do not just write what's on the ID. I always go with what's on the document first.
You go at what's on the document if it's supported by the ID. Got it. Okay, thank you so much for that.
And then Laura and Matt, I'm curious too, in your experience, like if you had to put a percentage on it, how many of your certificates are pre-filled for you?
In trust work?
Yeah.
About half.
Laura, what about you?
It's by attorney. I have 2 attorneys that they pre-fill out everything for me. And all I have to do is sign and stamp after I read through that everything is correct. And then I have another one, legal plan, that does not pre-fill it out for me. They pre-fill out the venue only, and everything else I need to take care of. So it just depends on who the customer is. Then usually it's always that way or always not that way.
Yeah, that consistency makes a difference.
Yeah.
All right, great questions, Gia. Thank you. Doreen, come on up. Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help. Doreen Curtis. Oh, did she go away? I scared her away.
Hello. No, I'm
there?
here.
Oh, hi.
I'm
There you
here.
are.
Can you hear me?
We sure can. What state are you in? How can we help?
Sure. I am Doreen Curtis, and I am in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia area. I'm new to the program. I've been a notary for a while, and I'm also a member of RON program. But I found out that everything is getting so expensive, and I'm getting addicted actually to your program. Now, today I was on the Tom talk or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And I want to know, because I remember you were saying that the Tom is separate from the NBB. And is there also a cost for the Notary? I think that's what it's called. Because I'm here trying to see how much money extra I need to come up with. Because I definitely, it's so many, programs that we have to pay for annually and monthly.
Yes.
So and so far I'm liking your program, so that's why I'm asking. And also,
hold on.
you know?
Doreen, can I just answer one question at a time? I'm so sorry. I won't retain it.
No, 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 that's okay. I understand.
I just know myself so well. Okay, so let me do my best to answer this one for you. So first things, subscription fatigue is a real thing, which is part of the reason that we started Notary Business Builder in the first place, because it includes so much, including the Notary Assist. It includes the Sign and Thrive subscription, and it includes marketing for notaries or signing agent marketing as it was. It includes Laura's, it includes all my courses except for the trust delivery, and so much more. So it's $58, but also included because the Tom app has a free standard version, and the standard version is perfect and awesome. If you've never used it before, that's all you need. You only need the pro after you've mastered the standard. If you're got the standard and you don't use it, you're not going to use the pros to save your money. Just use the free stuff I've given you. I give you a full pipeline. That's called the Tell Everyone pipeline. So you can communicate, you can share that video, the survey, you've got the email campaign, you've got everything you need. So that's it. That's separate, but it's still free, that standard version, right? So then the third thing that you had asked me, see, I already forgot what it is. MBB.
Notary.
Oh, Notary. So yeah, this is the cool part, right? So the best profile that you can have on Notary.com, which is the collection of the world's best notaries, the best profile you can have is NBB membership. So there's no additional cost. If you've got NBB, that's included too. If you're a certified notary trust delivery agent, you get one special listing just for trust delivery, but that's lifetime, no additional cost on that. Does that clear that for you?
Yes, I'm a member of, and yes, I'm also a member of the.
As a member, as a member of MBB, you get everything. You've got the best profile on Notary. You don't have to pay anything extra. The pro version of Tom is probably fine for you for right now. If you decide you want to upgrade later, you can, but right now you're fine. At the $58 a month, you've literally got everything you need to succeed in this business.
Well, to be honest with you, so far your program seems like a one-stop shop for notaries. You know, I'm kind of getting addicted to it. Yeah, I had to kill myself to get out of the office when I saw the email for this training or talk. And so I'm really learning as I go along. And also, do you know when exactly you will have the escrow pad? Because I think it's going to be the way of the future, and I'm also approved for that.
Oh, yes. I love that question. I know Matt loves it too, for the IPEN and escrow tab in particular. I don't know when we're going to be ready for general or specialty notary work. We are actively working behind the scenes, trying to make that, because in trust delivery and estate planning, it's a perfect fit. We're just not there yet, and I don't want to make any promises. So it'll come at some point. And I agree with you. I think that's the future. It bridges, you know, it checks all the boxes. It gives you the in-person part. So you get the service, the branding, the security, all of that, without sacrificing any of that. So we'll let you know. You guys will be literally the first to know when that's ready.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Sorry, I could not turn my camera on, but I'm driving. And,
yeah, no worries. We're so
right,
glad
thanks.
you're
I'll
here.
shut up now.
All right. Well,
yes, so keep up the good work. I'm really, really excited about your program.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see more of you, Doreen.
Yes. Thanks. Bye.
Have a good one. All right. Bye-bye. Okay, Rose, come on up. It looks like we have time for one or two more questions.
Hi, I'm Rose from New Jersey.
All right.
The escrow tab, I signed up for that, I guess about 6 months ago. And they said in order for me to join escrow tab, I had to buy the tablet and the iPen and all that. And I did everything, but it doesn't seem like New Jersey has that stuff going on yet. As you were speaking about the iPen.
Yeah. So, right now, escrow tab is limited to the loan signing industry, and we all know what's happening in the loan signing industry, right? So
yes,
it may or may not be about IPEN. It's just that you can't squeeze blood from a turnip. I keep hearing this from my escrow officers. They're like, We want to give you business, we just don't have anything. So that's, I think, more of the biggest challenge. But we've been proactive. We saw the writing on the wall early, so we've been working with EscrowTab behind the scenes, like I said, to tap into the specialty and general notary work. It's just not ready yet.
Okay. Another question, as we were on the phone, I received a phone call and it was somebody asking me to do a notarization for a closing. And I've done them before. I have my own office in my home. And the gentleman said, "Are you open for notary?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "I just have something I need to have notarized." I said, "Well, what kind of document is it?" And he says, "It's a closing for a home." And he says, "What do you charge for that?" And I said, "I charge 75." And he said, "Oh, okay." And he hung up. So I did text him and let him know that I am a loan signing agent and I'm certified NNA. And he said, "That's what I would charge." I said, "But the title company or the other agencies would charge you a heck of a lot." I didn't say a heck of a lot more, but they charge much more. So if I'm getting paid 150 from them, I only charge 75, and I'm setting myself short because I go the extra mile. I'll make a copy of it, I'll put it in a folder. Sometimes if they need it mailed, I'll mail it for them. So I just want to make sure that I'm not overcharging at $75 to do a closing when I know I go to closings and I make more at times.
You're drastically undercharging, Rose. Now, here's the thing. It's your business and you can do whatever you want, but there's a downside to pricing yourself out. And I call it the Walmart game, right? Like Walmart forces their vendors and the people who sell in their stores to go rock bottom on price. And unless you're doing volume, you're going to go broke. And a lot of companies do go broke. And notaries go broke too. I did this. I made this mistake. I started charging $75 for a loan sign. I'd drive all over Maricopa County for $75.
But they're coming to me, so that part didn't bother me. If I was going to them, then I would charge them more, and they didn't have a problem with that.
Still, you've got to print. You're printing two things. It's not sustainable. It's not scalable. So will you get a deal occasionally and outbid? Yes, but it's not scalable for your business. So you get to do whatever you want, Rose. It's your business. And you can charge significantly more for that because there's a lot of your expertise that you bring to the table. There's the printing expenses. If you're going above and beyond, people don't believe you go above and beyond if you are the cheapest person they call. And there are people who won't give you business because you're the cheapest, just like there are people who won't book you when you're mid-level or expensive. It goes both directions on that. Laura, this is something that you're so passionate about too when it comes to valuing yourself. Do you have any input that you would suggest for Rose too?
You know, there are several things that need to go into our calculation for a pricing strategy. And if the pricing strategy is they're offering me this much money, so that's what I'll take, that's not a strategy. Our strategies need to include all of our costs, direct and indirect. We need to be able to include what would I pay myself? What would I have to pay somebody else to go do that work? So that's the owner's compensation. And then we also need to have room for profit. And that doesn't have to be big, but it needs to be a number that's there consistently for us. And that profit, and that could be 5% of the job, gets put aside for future use to pay you again as an owner, as a distribution of profit, and used for building capital that you might use to go to a conference, or capital to buy equipment, or capital for just rainy day purposes. And if you don't include all of that in your pricing structure, you will not be financially prepared for when there's no work, or financially prepared when your printer breaks, you got to buy a new one, or financially prepared for those things that come up as a business owner. And the only other way that we can live then is that we increase our debt with credit card usage, or lines of credit. And so that's the only thing I ask for notaries to think about when they're creating their pricing structure that they consider everything that needs to go in there. And you know what? I decided I'm not a Walmart notary, right? I'm a Nordstrom's notary, and it's different. And
Yeah.
and I attract those kinds of jobs because those are the jobs that I.
Thank you, Laura. Great. Rose, did that perspective, is that helpful?
Yes, that was very helpful. It just gets frustrating because they say what and then they click and then I try to be it for me. I'm trying to get I've been in business for almost 2 years. I have 63 reviews on the Google, and it's like I send them after they leave. I say, would you mind if and I send you a thank you note if I can give you my link to give me a review? And they say yes, and then it gets frustrating because half the time they don't leave the review, and I go above and beyond, and I kind of feel like, well, I didn't give them a price break, but I didn't overly charge them because they can go right down the street to the UPS store and only get charged $5. And then that's when they say, oh, well, the UPS store only does it for $5. I said, well, I'm not the UPS store. I'm certified. My work is backed up. If I make a mistake, you come back and I take care of it. I don't have a problem with that. And I've had that a couple times where one girl was going through something and the husband kept on making her have to redo it. And eventually I stopped charging her because it wasn't her fault. It was the husband just being a nitpick at whatever the situation was that they were going through. And at times it gets frustrating because I put my heart into it, and then they say, yeah, we'll leave you a review. And then when I end up texting them, it's like I should have over 150 reviews. And
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
highest on my
Rose.
list in my area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rose. A couple things. One is they weren't your customers. They weren't your customers. If they hung up or they're going to go to the UPS store to get it cheaper, they're not your customers. Not everybody is. And it's not say anything about you or your service or anything else. There are some people that just aren't my customers. And the other thing is with the reviews, you know what? Sometimes people don't follow up. Don't worry about it. Move on.
Oh,
I
no,
learned
I
a
do.
new
I just
phrase, but you're saying frustrating, and I hear the word frustrating or frustration over and over again. Think about changing that word to fascinating. Every time somebody doesn't do what they said they would do for you, think, isn't that fascinating?
because I went above
Instead
and
of
beyond for
frustrating.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, anytime you and this was tough for me,
Yeah.
but I'm a control freak and pretty sensitive. But I had to learn that we can't control other people. You can only do what you can do, Rose. And it's clear that you bring value to your clients. You care about the work that you do, and all you can do is ask and then follow up.
Right.
And then they're going to do what they're going to do. But on the practical level too, in your phone call, there is a strategy that you could try that might increase bookings. And that is to before you quote your price, like that's the first question people want to know, right? They want to know, how much do you charge for this? And you might get it sneak in a question. Well, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? I love asking that. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions first? And it sounds like you do that. And then what
Yes,
you
because they jump
do,
in and say it's only one page. I say, but what kind of document is it? And that's when they start to get like a little quiet. So yes,
yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And then so what you can do is after you ask your series of questions, so you fully understand what the scope of the job is, quote the scope back to them. Say, okay, here's what you've got. Here's what I'm going to do for you, and stack your value. List out the things that separates you from everybody before you quote your price. And that's it's counterintuitive. And you sometimes buy into the other person's energy calling you. They're always in a hurry. There's always a sense of urgency for this, right? But you've got to separate yourself from that. Their emergency is not your emergency.
Right.
So you take gentle control of the call, walk them through, get the full scope, stack your value, and quote your price. You will close more deals.
Okay.
But as Laura said, you won't close them all. Sometimes it doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth. They're shopping for Walmart. you are you're offering way above the bare minimum price, right? You're going above and beyond. You're going to stack that value. And if you get in the habit of just doing it on every single call, this gets easier and easier and easier. You don't have to change your strategy for a trust call and then a POA call and a loan signing call. You just do the same thing for every single call. You build that habit and you'll close more deals. All right. It is 7 minutes past. I'm so sorry. We got to wrap up today's call. Rose, that was a wonderful way to end TNT on Notary Public Day, because that's all about the value, demonstrating the value, expressing the value, and the heart and the drive that makes us do this work. So thank you for that last question. And thank you all. Matt from California League of Independent Notaries, thank you for being here and participating. Laura, of course, our amazing co-host. We've got Jen Neitzel in our heads and our heart. She's not feeling too great, so she couldn't be here, but we're thinking about her today as well. So for all of you who hung out with us for this long, I appreciate it. Thank you for growing yourself and your business on a Tuesday, not just any Tuesday, on Notary Public Day. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Happy Notary
Thank you.
Public Day, everyone.
Happy Notary Public Day. Thank you.
Yeah.